here's your conservative, but not bitter host, Todd Huff.
Well, that is right. You are listening to the home of conservative, not bitter talk, hour number 2 of today's program. Email me your thoughts, questions, opinions. Your adoration and praise will also be accepted. Todd at ToddHuffShow.com. I'm kidding, but I'm not. Facebook.com/Todd Huff Show. That's where we air hour number 1 of the program. Now we're on YouTube for the foreseeable future here. Hour number 2. You can also catch hour number 2 by being a subscriber to Total Access, ToddHuffShow.com/Total Access, or you can get a free month of Total Access by simply subscribing to our free weekly email newsletter, Semi-Sweet Morsels of Truth, which is ever so conservative and not bitter. You can do that by going to ToddHuffShow.com/subscribe. You can also text the word Huff, forgot about this, to 31996. That's how you would join the newsletter. You'll have to give us an email. You'll get a text message back that says, hey, we got your text, send us your email, and you'll be good to go. So that's how that process works. Good to be here for hour 2 of the program. No matter where you're watching, listening to the program, it's good to have you. So I want to talk here about something I saw from Bill Bennett yesterday. And I bring this up only because it came up during yesterday's interview with Dr. Victor Davis Hanson, where he talked about there being as much as a 30% chance that Biden-Bama, if you prefer, it's the things Biden says, but Biden-Bama, yesterday, Dr. Victor Davis Hanson told us that he saw as much as a 30% chance that Biden would not be the nominee still. 30% chance. Which, look, I follow the logic of what he's saying, and of course it makes good sense. And basically the argument goes like this. Biden is not a good candidate. He wasn't even the candidate that people wanted. But as they watched the Democrat primary process play out, the debates and the early voting in states like Iowa and New Hampshire, and they watched Bernie Sanders shoot to the front of the pack, and they saw that the party, there's a very energized, very committed part of the base that was supporting Bernie. However, that was not going to happen. That was never going to happen. The party leaders and the big money power brokers in the Democrat Party will not let that happen. They weren't going to let that happen in 2016. They are not going to let that happen in 2020. And so we've been through this several times. They basically made some phone calls. They made some phone calls to the people, such as Pete Buttigieg. They made a call to Amy Klobuchar. Who knows what they promised them? We'll offer you whatever you want. Just drop out of the race and endorse Joe Biden. And that's what happened after South Carolina, before Super Tuesday. And we were left with Bloomberg, Biden, Warren, and Sanders. And so they kind of let Warren alone because they thought Warren is probably taking votes from Bernie. They're both radicals. They're both effectively socialists. We'll let those two kind of stay in. Bloomberg said, hey, look, I've invested about $50 billion per delegate that I'm getting. I have to get through Super Tuesday. So they let him get through Super Tuesday. And, of course, he had a terrible performance on Super Tuesday as well. So he later dropped out. Elizabeth Warren dropped out that following Thursday, leaving only Bernie and Biden in the election, or in the nomination process. And so all the other folks who were pulling votes away from Biden, their supporters kind of coalesced around Biden. And so Biden kind of took off with this thing. Then we had COVID come along, and all sorts of havoc was spread across lots of areas of our life, from businesses and churches and schools being closed or severely at least impacted by this coronavirus. And that also included the campaign. And so primaries were being postponed, and in the case of New York, even canceled. So Bernie couldn't get out there and campaign. Bernie's the kind of guy that would, fill large auditoriums. Bernie had a lot of energy. People want free stuff, turns out. And to be told that someone else is responsible for their plight, for their problems, for their difficulties, whatever, that appeals to people. Bernie's out there proclaiming it from the rooftops. And so, but he couldn't energize. He couldn't compete. And eventually he drops out of the race. Of course, it took people like Biden, not to be confused with the Biden-Obama administration. He's just one half of it. But the one half, the important half of the Biden-Obama administration didn't even endorse Joe Biden until a week after Bernie dropped out. In fact, not even until Bernie dropped out and then endorsed Biden did we hear from the Biden half of the Biden-Obama administration. Then even after that, we heard from Elizabeth Warren. She took a little bit longer to endorse him. Then after that, we heard from Hillary Clinton, who just came out, last week, I think, to endorse Joe Biden. And so this process has gotten us to where we are. And now Biden is stuck in his basement. He's been on television. He's said some things. Again, look, when they're gaffes, and it's a fine line. There's gaffes. Biden has always made gaffes for as far back as I can remember. And this guy has run for president effectively since the time I was in about 6th grade, 1988. So Biden, I don't know if that's 6th grade now that I say that or not. I would have been, it's probably 5th grade. 5th grade, Joe Biden. This guy's been in public life for literally half a century. So, but he's always made gaffes. He's always done stuff. In fact, if you go back, look at some of the reasons his first campaign in the late 1980s didn't take off. It's not there's a lot of things to be concerned about with Joe Biden. Let's just say that. So, but Biden's been campaigning, so to speak, from the basement, not making appearances, not making speeches. This, of course, at first was not bad news to the campaign because Biden candidly doesn't really, it's less opportunity for him to say things that they've got to correct or apologize for, embarrassing gaffes and so forth. But you begin to wonder how much of this is a gaffe, and is there, and I'm not trying to, this makes me uncomfortable. I'll talk about the guy's politics all day. I'll make fun of some of the crazy things he said. But we start venturing into an area, as I feel like we're now in with him, which is there something wrong with Biden? Is it not just that he's, not able, he's just a politician who says things and just says funny things by accident, or is there something cognitively going on here? And I think it's clear, and again, I'm not trying to suggest anything, make any diagnosis, but it's just clear that something is not, we've moved out of the realm of just slip-ups and silly things that the guy says to he can't get through an interview either with notes, he doesn't do well, he doesn't do well without notes. He gets numbers wrong all the time by magnitudes of 10, sometimes even more than 10. Remember, he's at 150 million Americans were killed by gun violence in some, 7-year span or some such thing. That's half the population almost of the United States. It's clearly not the case. Half of America did not die due to gun violence, you may have noticed. So, but you start adding these things up and you think these are no longer just gaffes. Is there something else going on here? And so you combine that with the fact that they weren't really excited about him to begin with. And then you look to the realities that you start to see him. They start to anticipate what happens when he debates Trump, because there's going to be some form of debate. They can't hide this guy forever. I mean, even if it's by video or socially distanced by 50 feet on the stage or some such thing, you just can't. I don't think that that's going to be acceptable. And Trump is going to be relentless on him in the sense of demanding that there are debates. So he's trying to pick his running mate, and this is an important choice for him because if he picks someone who doesn't energize and excite at least certain parts of the base or certain states, then this could ultimately lead to his demise as the candidate. And there's always been a chance of this, because as Dr. Hansen told us yesterday, it doesn't really, the Democrats will find a way at the convention. They'll find some technicality. If they believe, hey, this guy can't win, we're going to lose, he's not going to let us win the Senate, and we may lose the House now, they're not going to accept that. They're not going to accept a Trump presidency, Republican Senate, and a House Speaker that's Kevin McCarthy or whoever the Republicans would put in that position. So they're not going to accept that. So when Dr. Hansen said he saw a 30% chance of Biden not being the nominee, it kind of caught me off guard, because I would have thought maybe, 10% chance or something. Just being transparent with you. Even I don't know everything here. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday, Bill Bennett, Bill Bennett, he said that there's almost a 50% chance Biden won't be the nominee. Think about that, 50% chance. So now he's saying it's a coin toss. It's a coin toss. It always reminds me. Coin tosses will, for the rest of my life, remind me of the Iowa caucuses in 2016 when Hillary Clinton won 8 coin tosses in a row. 8 coin tosses in a row. The chances of that were actually smaller than the chances of Elizabeth Warren actually being Native American. I remember looking at those numbers. It was like 1 in 2,400 or some such number. And of course, we know Elizabeth Warren was 2024th Native American or some such thing. And she's out there proclaiming that she's Native American. And of course, I can comment on this because I am the 13th great-grandson of Pocahontas, documented by genealogists, and I am the self-appointed spokesperson of the family. So I can engage in this without any repercussions, any accusations of insensitivities, because I am a descendant of Pocahontas, which, by the way, is really cool. I think is neat, but it doesn't mean that we can't still have a little fun with it on here because of the way that the media decides to cover things and discuss things when Trump calls Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas. But anyway, so now Bill Bennett's out there saying that there's a 50% chance, almost a 50% chance, that Biden is not the nominee. This is what he said. I don't think it's a done deal. Bennett said. He's referring to Biden. He's in the basement. He's not performing very well. That's an understatement. Maybe he's better off there than going out and making these flubs he's been making, but the election is still 6-8 months away. Bill Bennett continued by saying in November he'll be older, and I think there's trouble on this Tara Reade thing. Even then, we'll talk about Tara Reade as well. Nancy Pelosi says it's been vetted. We got nothing to discuss here. Move on. We've got the founder of Politico who said he basically doesn't care. He doesn't even want justice in the case of Joe Biden. He just wants Joe Biden to be the president. I mean, it's incredible stuff that we're dealing with, folks. But this is the truth, and I'm just the messenger. So don't hate me. Hate the message. Hate those who are perpetrating this nonsense, these false, these lies and this deceit and this crazy worldview that we're having to fend off on a hour-by-hour basis, it seems like today. But we'll talk about that. Talk about Tara Reade, Nancy Pelosi, and Politico founder, some of the comments he's made about Tara Reade and the allegations and his total lack of concern as to whether or not Biden raped Tara Reade, which is what the charges are, rape charges. I cannot overstate that. These aren't just sexual assault charges, which are terrible. They are rape charges. Got to take a break. You're listening here to the home of conservative, not bitter talk. I am your host, Todd Huff. Back here in just a minute.
Looking to make a conservative, not bitter fashion statement? Check out our apparel online, including brand new items at toddhuffshow.com/shop today.
If you own a rental property, you know the hassles of marketing, renting, collecting, and the handling of maintenance and repairs. One call to Zuluscape can put an end to your property management headaches. Zuluscape has over 20 years of experience helping landlords throughout central Indiana and taking the stress out of owning a rental. From A to Z, let Zuluscape handle it all so you can enjoy owning a rental instead of hating being a landlord. Give us a call at 317-663-8485 or visit our website at zuluscape.com.
All right, here we go. $100 down, $100 down, $200 down, back up, $300.
I went to my first firearms auction a few years ago. It was hosted by TJ Freegee, one of my good friends from high school, who is a champion auctioneer and one of the best in the business. In spite of objections from liberal legislators, I walked away with a .22 rifle and a few boxes of ammunition. And I had a great afternoon with my grandpa that I won't soon forget. If you've ever wondered what treasure you could find in an auction, visit FreegieAuctioneers.com and take a look at their upcoming Central Indiana auction schedule. That's Freegee, F-R-E-I-J-E, auctioneers.com. Visit FreegieAuctioneers.com.
Hi, I'm TJ Freegee, owner and lead auctioneer at Freegee & Freegee Auctions and Marketing. I invite you to come see the power of live auctions. It's fast, it's fun, it's transparent, and it's the absolute best way to ensure you get fair market value for your asset today. Get results, go auction.
Outside of the federal government, no one likes losing money. Any amount of money, not just the $6 billion the State Department lost. And what makes losing money worse is knowing that we could have done something to stop it. Well, if you have an inefficient furnace, a toilet that won't stop running, or a leaky faucet, you can do something about it. You can call the good folks at Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing. Call 317-831-5279 or visit economyheatingandair.com.
Ever ask yourself, what does my business insurance actually cover? Well, at AIA and Avon, we think you deserve to know. AIA is focused on earning your trust. We've found that when we educate our clients and truly listen to them, they allow us to work alongside them to put together the insurance plan they need. Whether your business is big or small, give AIA a call, 317-718-1747, or find out what we can do for you at AIA4lowrates.com. Advertisement sponsored by Grange Insurance.
You rely on your vehicle every day. It's not a member of the family, but you spend as much time with it as most family members. You wouldn't take your family to just any doctor, so don't trust your vehicle to just any repair service. At Raymond's Auto and Truck Repair in Plainfield, we have well-trained, caring technicians that have the expertise to get you back on the road. For 25 years, we've been servicing personal, commercial, and fleet vehicles. Give us a call at 317-838-7112 for the car service you deserve.
Are you an electrician, plumber, or handyman looking for an 8-to-5 job that pays you what you're worth? Copper Ridge Home Services wants you. Our veteran-owned family business offers holiday pay, weekends off, and on-site training for entry-level positions. Our team is growing, so if you have a can-do attitude, we want you to be part of that growth. Ready for a change? Give Copper Ridge a call at 317-839-6100. That's 317-839-6100. Copper Ridge Home Services. We value your time.
The compassion of Christ compels us to stop what we're doing and seek that person out. I think as Jesus went, in that famous song I sang as a little kid was Zacchaeus, come down. Zacchaeus was in a tree and he wanted to engage with Jesus, but he just couldn't, and Jesus stopped and he went over to him. If we are going to live a life of compassion, the compassion of Christ, are we willing to stop and seek those who need a touch of compassion today?
Welcome back. So I referenced before the break a couple of things. Number one, I'd mentioned that Nancy Pelosi, again, just doesn't have any interest. Doesn't have any interest in the Tara Reade situation. She thinks that this has already been, Biden has already been vetted. We've already run through this. We know that nothing happened here and there's nothing candidly to look into. She thinks that this is, well, just, I don't know, made up? I don't know. But this is what she says I'm looking in the Washington Examiner. This is a opinion piece, but she's out there claiming that the accusation against Joe Biden is a, quote, closed issue. This is what she says. I have said I am proud to support Joe Biden for president. I believe him when he says it didn't happen, but I also believe when he says let them look into the records. And that's what they should do, but I'm not going to answer this question again. Done with this. This is a closed issue, she said later. Of course, I wonder what she thinks about Biden not wanting the records at Delaware, or the University of Delaware, released. I wonder if that has any bearing on her thought process. But nonetheless, that's what she's out there saying that. We've also got the founder. Boy, I tell you what, one of the founders of Politico. This is a bold thing to say. Anytime I see comments like this, I just find myself thinking, man, oh man, what would happen? What would happen if some conservative said this? If some Republican said this, Headline of this, Daily Caller, I don't want justice. That's what he says. Politico founder wants President Biden, even if he's a sexual predator. Again, I don't want justice. I'm going to read from this. One of the founders of Politico admitted that he doesn't want an investigation into former Vice President Joe Biden regarding allegations of sexual assault. Again, it's allegations of rape. I think this needs to be clarified and clearly stated. Because it could hurt Biden's chance to win in 2020. A piece from the New York Times published Monday of this week published letters to the editor regarding a May 2nd piece from the editorial board titled Investigate Tara Reade's Allegations. Reade has accused Biden of sexually assaulting her, again, raping her, allegedly, while she worked as a Senate staffer in the early 1990s. Martin Tolchin, a co-founder of Politico and The Hill, as well as a former member of the Times Washington Bureau, wrote in and admitted that he didn't want an investigation into the allegation. Tolchin wrote that this was simply because it could damage the chance to beat President Donald Trump, adding that he didn't even want justice for Reade if her allegation proved true. Yikes, my oh my. I totally disagree with this editorial. I don't want an investigation. This is him, not me. I want a coronation of Joe Biden. Reminds me back in 2016. I've shared this before. I've got a friend who shared with me a story of some people that he knew on the morning of November, was it the 8th or the 6th of 2016, Election Day. Some Democrats, some Hillary voters, they were so convinced that Hillary was going to win the election that I believe they took a bottle of champagne with them to work so that when they could leave work, go to the party and celebrate the coronation. That's why I bring this up, the coronation of Hillary Rodham Clinton. And of course, they were greatly disappointed. Probably had some tears. I doubt they even popped open the champagne. Probably went straight for the hard liquor to deal with the sadness that would ensue from Hillary being defeated. Of course, the morning of, these jokers in the media, the Huffington Post, I have a screenshot of it somewhere, gave Hillary something like a 98.1% chance of winning the election that day. Of course, that was not meant to be. But this is nuts. He continues here. I don't want justice, whatever that may be. I want to win. The removal of Donald Trump from office, and Mr. Biden is our best chance. I mean, yikes, man. This is craziness. You look at how and I'm putting everybody on the side of the media and the Democrat Party into one common bucket here, and I know that that's not necessarily the case, but just for the sake of simplicity, you know what I mean. There's this group of people who, when something happens or is accused to have happened, and they can point the finger at Donald Trump, they act appalled, they act repulsed, they want him impeached, removed from office, or not elected, whatever. Just anything to stop him. But when the same things or worse, in this case, happen to their guy, and again, I'm not accusing Biden of this, but the idea that Nancy Pelosi has no interest in this, no interest. I consider this basically a closed issue. So that's it. Based on what? Based on what was it? Where was this investigation, or where were these questions? This has been largely ignored in the media. At least this guy's honest. I want to read the whole thing. It's not very long. Again, the editorial he is responding to was an editorial saying, let's hear the allegations brought forth by Tara Reade. So he writes in and says, to the editor, I totally disagree with this editorial. I don't want an investigation. I want a coronation of Joe Biden. Would he make a great president? Unlikely. We can agree on that, by the way. Would he make a good president? Good enough. Don't know what he means by good enough. I guess that means socialist enough. Would he make a better president than the present occupant? Absolutely. That's what he writes. Of course, that's deranged. I don't want justice, he continues, whatever that may be. I want a win. The removal of Donald Trump from office and Mr. Biden is our best chance. Right now, he's their only chance. Now, notwithstanding what we talked about last segment, which is, of course, the Democrats stop Biden because he's going to destroy even their chances of keeping the House, which is, again, as Victor Davis Hanson told me, 30% chance of happening, as Bill Bennett's out there saying 50% chance of happening. But anyway, he continues here. Again, this is Martin Tolchin. He's the former member of the Times Washington Bureau and the founder of Politico and The Hill. He continues here in paragraph 2. This is the last paragraph. Suppose an investigation reveals damaging information concerning his relationship with Tara Reade or something else, and Mr. Biden loses the nomination to Senator Bernie Sanders or someone else with a minimal chance of defeating Mr. Trump. Should we really risk that possibility? The possibility. Martin Tolchin, Alexandria, Virginia. Surprise, surprise. The guy still lives in the swamp. The writer is a former member of the Times Washington Bureau and founder of Politico. Let that sink in. He doesn't want it. He doesn't want justice. He doesn't want that. He says it. I don't want justice. I just want Trump gone. Folks, when we say that people have said Trump derangement syndrome, and this is the embodiment of that. He says, I don't want justice. I mean, the point of government, if you look at the preamble to the Constitution, I mean, part of the role of government is to establish justice. He doesn't want justice. He says, I want the government I want at any cost necessary. It makes no difference to me if he might as well have written this, folks. It makes no difference to me if Joe Biden, I don't even like to say the words because they sound like they're coming from me. I'm just saying he might as well say with what he said in this letter, he doesn't care if Biden raped her. Think about that. I mean, you could make the case we're never going to know, okay? You could make the case that it's a 27-year-old allegation. How are we ever going to find evidence? Okay. I can understand that and listen to that. I still find myself stuck in a position where you've told me before I must believe women. Now you're telling me I must just listen to women. I guess I should sit there, let her tell her side of the case, nod and say, that's nice, and not do anything about it. I mean, is that what they want? That seems reprehensible to me. What do they really want? What they really want you to do is if it's charged against a Republican or a conservative or Trump in particular, you have to believe they're guilty. And if you don't, you're the scum of the earth. But if you believe that there's no way of knowing, you should use that judgment only when a Democrat is charged. You should assume that the woman is lying. Of course, you should listen to her, which whatever that means. Why would we want to listen to someone who's telling lies? See, it just seems disingenuous to me. If you're charged of something as reprehensible as this and you didn't do it, why would you say she deserves to be heard? Is that how you would respond? I'd say no, she doesn't deserve to be heard because she's stinking lying. She's making this up. This is fabricated. This never happened. You shouldn't spend 2 seconds listening to her because it's a fake story. It's made up. She's lying about it. Instead, Biden wants a tightrope here and make it sound like, oh, he's sensitive to what she thinks happened. Why would you be sensitive to what she thinks happened if it incriminates you and you didn't do it? It just goes against the natural way of responding to allegations. I mean, I'd be outraged at this. Biden acts like, well, I didn't do it. It was 27 years ago, but she needs to be heard, sort of thing. That's the feeling from all this. This guy doesn't want justice at all, though. This Martin Tolchin, one of the founders of Politico. Sick stuff, man. Sick stuff. Gotta take a break. Long in this segment, you're listening to Conservative Not Better Talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff, back here in just a minute.
Like what you hear on Todd's show? Why not get more by signing up for Todd's free Semi-Sweet Morsels of Truth newsletter? To subscribe, visit toddhuffshow.com/subscribe or text HUFF to 31996.
Healthcare is expensive and complicated. Did you know that as a Christian business owner, it is possible to provide access to affordable health benefits for your employees? Remodel Health has helped employers across the United States save over $22 million in the past 3 years. Our innovative approach allows your employees to have the health benefits they need at a cost you can afford. Go to remodelhealth.com/Todd to help your employees find the healthcare they deserve. Remodel Health. Rethink employee health benefits.
If you own a rental property, you know the hassles of marketing, renting, collecting, and the handling of maintenance and repairs. One call to Zuluscape can put an end to your property management headaches. Zuluscape has over 20 years of experience helping landlords throughout central Indiana and taking the stress out of owning a rental. From A to Z, let Zuluscape handle it all so you can enjoy owning a rental instead of hating being a landlord. Give us a call at 317-663-8485 or visit our website at zuluscape.com.
The printing industry has changed a lot since we opened for business in 1931, but what our clients expect from us really hasn't changed. Quality print, fast turnaround, and competitive prices. We've learned a lot at Moeller Printing over 86 years and 3 generations. Why not put that experience to work for you? Call 317-353-2224 and mention discount code RADIO to receive 10% off your first order. Call Moeller Printing at 317-353-2224.
What if your bank treated you like a person instead of an account number? What if you could sit across from the person you are opening an account with or requesting a loan from and have an actual conversation? You may be thinking, Todd, that's crazy talk. Well, not at Citizens Bank. Come visit them in Monrovia and meet Nick Gibson, their new branch manager, and the rest of their staff. Or give them a call at 317-831-0110. Citizens Bank is an equal housing lender and member FDIC.
All right, here we go. $100 down, $200 down, back up $300.
I went to my first firearms auction a few years ago. It was hosted by TJ Freegee, one of my good friends from high school, who is a champion auctioneer and one of the best in the business. In spite of objections from liberal legislators, I walked away with a .22 rifle and a few boxes of ammunition. And I had a great afternoon with my grandpa that I won't soon forget. If you've ever wondered what treasure you could find in an auction, visit FreegeeAuctioneers.com and take a look at their upcoming Central Indiana auction schedule. That's Freegee, F-R-E-I-J-E, auctioneers.com. Visit FreegeeAuctioneers.com.
Hi, I'm TJ Freegee, owner and lead auctioneer at Freegee Auctions and Marketing. I invite you to come see the power of live auctions. It's fast, it's fun, it's transparent, and it's the absolute best way to ensure you get fair market value for your asset today. Get results, go auction.
This is the sound of your typical do-it-yourselfer in completely over his head.
For heating, plumbing,
and electrical done right.
Call Mr. Quick. Call Mr. Quick. Dial the number, spell the words. For on time.
Hi, I'm Greg Hubler from Greg Hubler Chevrolet. You know, a promise can get lost in a big city, but in a smaller town, a promise made had better be a promise kept. That's why the Greg Hubler Promise covers every vehicle we sell. All new Chevys receive a 3-year, 45,000-mile scheduled maintenance, plus complimentary roadside assistance and a free car wash with every visit. A promise made is a promise kept. Stop by Greg Hubler Chevy today or visit GregHublerChevy.com.
Cruise on over to
find new roads.
Welcome back. By the way, what type of a person doesn't want justice? What type of a person doesn't want justice? What does that say about a person? I don't want justice. That means I want something a certain way, and I don't care what it costs. I don't care who it hurts. I don't care about the truth. I don't care about what's right and wrong. I only care about the desired result, which in this case, as he puts it, is the coronation of Joe Biden. I don't know if this guy realizes it or not, but the coronation is something that at least carries the connotation. It may have, I'm looking up the definition, but it carries with it the connotation that we're dealing with like monarchy. Right? So the definition here of coronation is the act of placement or bestowal of a crown upon a monarch's head. So apparently this guy, he's the founder of Politico, founder of The Hill, at least one of them for both of these sources, these media sources, right? These are media. These are people that are supposed to be above the fray. They're supposed to be unbiased. They're supposed to be fair-minded. We're supposed to believe that what we read in Politico is founded by a guy with this type of mentality, doesn't care about justice. Only think about the ramifications of this. Think about that the next time you read something in Politico or The Hill. The person, one of the people that founded this, doesn't want justice. I think another way of saying that is they don't want truth. I think another way of saying that is they only want their worldview or their ideology implemented in this nation. So if you're looking through that lens, if that's accurate, if that's true, of course you know that, as they say, crap rolls downhill. So if he's the head of this organization or one of the founders, that mentality either spread deliberately or unintentionally to the rest of the staff. I don't care what you write. I don't want justice. I just want Democrat victories. Ooh boy, this'll preach, as they say. I don't want Democrat. I just want Democrat victories. I don't want justice. Think about that, folks. When I rail about the media, when other people rail about the media, of course I don't rail too much. I'm conservative, not bitter. But this is a problem. When you can't believe the information you're told, when you have no other way of getting the information other than depending upon these jokers who have no concern, by their own admission, by their own words. This should haunt this guy for the rest of his life. Look, unless he totally, repents of it and says that was wrong. I don't mean that. That was just a bad day for me. But the thing, he wrote the words. It's not like he just said them and thought, oh, as they're starting to come out of his mouth, he's trying to catch them and pull them back. No, he wrote it. He wrote it. He read it. He sent it in to the New York Times editorial board. That was his. He had multiple chances to adjust what he wanted to say. And what did he want to say? I don't care about justice for a rape victim, allegedly, if this is what happened. And again, we don't know, but he doesn't even care, folks. I don't want justice. I've shared stories. I've been on a jury. Actually, around this time, it might have been. I'm pausing here because it might have been this week, 2 years ago. I reported for jury duty around this time in 2018. I was juror number 6. So I was in the box the first round. And, statistically you think I'm not going to get chosen. But of course I got chosen. But I'll tell you something that wouldn't have got me chosen if I said I don't want justice. This guy couldn't even, just think about this. He couldn't serve on a jury, and we have him in charge of the media. Not in charge of it, but, he's the founder of Politico, one of the founders of Politico, one of the founders of The Hill, where we get information. Doesn't want justice. Doesn't want justice. doesn't care about truth is another way I believe of saying that. Only wants his ideas to advance at whatever the cost. Reprehensible, inexcusable. By his own admission, he has proven that he himself is not qualified to be someone that should be entrusted with passing along information in an unbiased way. Reprehensible stuff. And I've got to take a break. You're listening to Conservative Not Bitter Talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff. Back in just a minute.
Listen to Todd's show on your way to work, but want to hear more? Don't miss a beat. Visit toddhuffshow.com/listen to catch the program anytime, anywhere.
Geothermal tax credits are back, making this the perfect time to install a new Climate Master geothermal system. Take advantage of this limited time 26% tax credit and begin cutting your heating and cooling bills immediately. Visit indianageothermal.com/info to get your free Climate Master information kit or call 317-829-1490. Visit indianageothermal.com/info or call 317-829-1490. Geothermal, it's cheaper than you think.
I love my community, and I wanted to do more to make a difference with my hard-earned dollars. I wanted to make an impact and help shape our future and our county. So I gave money to the Community Foundation of Morgan County. More than just charitable giving, the money I donate is tracked and measured so every dollar is held accountable. It's a social return on your investment. Why don't you join me in donating at cfmconline.org? That's cfmconline.org. Philanthropy with measurable impact.
Hi, my name is John Swadner, Sales Director of The Todd Huff Show. As a listener of the program, you know the show is growing. 4 years ago, it began as a podcast in a closet. Today, it's a 2-hour show that airs during morning drive in Indy and in Utah, and we're just scratching the surface. Todd brought me on board to help the show and our advertisers grow. That's why I'm specifically looking for partners who are a good fit to advertise with us. Would that be you? To learn more about what advertising would look like and to determine if it's a good fit for your business, shoot me an email to john@toddhuffshow.com. And be sure to ask me about some of our special packages that will save you up to 40%. Email john@toddhuffshow.com. Shoot me an email today.
Wallace Construction is a family-owned business with 45 years' experience in asphalt, concrete, and seal coating. At Wallace Construction, our wide variety of experience and top-notch customer service have helped us build a strong reputation in central Indiana. But we don't rest on that reputation. We build it, one job at a time. If you have an upcoming project, call us at 317-422-5356. That's Wallace Construction, 317-422-5356, and ask for Richard or Roger.
Radon is an invisible, odorless gas that kills more people than drunk driving. In fact, radon is the leading cause of lung cancer in non-smokers. Is radon threatening the health of your family? Call Radon Environmental at 317-843-0804. Radon Environmental specializes in radon testing and mitigation. The process is quick, easy, and worth it. Radon Environmental wants to make sure your family's health is not at risk. Call 317-843-0804.
When life is hard for the women you care about, there is help with issues such as widowhood, anxiety, depression, or abuse. They don't have to go through it alone. Peace Restored is there to walk with women through the journey. Peace Restored helps women through free mentoring, counseling, and education. When life is hard, Peace Restored is there to help women you care about find hope and healing. To learn more, visit peacerestored.net.
Welcome back. Again, I'm still reeling from this. The idea that a guy who's in charge of, and I don't mean in charge of like he's the one person, but he started a company that is responsible supposedly for passing along information, making it, through its editorials, making the case for or against certain things. It's all predicated upon the free flow of information. This guy is in charge of that to a degree, yet he's not even qualified to sit on a jury. He doesn't want justice. it's just incredible to think about that someone in that world can be so blinded by their ideology, by their hatred, by their whatever. Like, the more, I've said it on here before, there is no alternative. There is no liberal not bitter. I've yet to find it. I've yet to find the alternative to conservative not bitter talk in education. I don't know where it is. I haven't looked too hard because I know by the nature of what liberalism turns into, which is usually condescension, self-righteousness, and the giving up of personal freedoms and liberty for some insane belief in some utopia that can be created by a group of people that we elect, who, by the way, can't collectively chew gum and walk at the same time. Somehow these folks are going to come together and save us from ourselves and usher in utopia. That's what liberalism promotes. More government, less freedom. And if you don't agree with them, they're condescending towards you. You're not smart enough. You don't understand the complexities. You don't understand how much more they know than you. I sat through this junk through college. I was never once intimidated by this stuff. It just, again, one of the greatest compliments I ever got in school, and you may have gotten this too. The thing is, you may have gotten this and you didn't know it because someone didn't tell you. They happened to tell me. One of my classmates, Chris was his name. We were walking, it was at American University. I attended Butler, but I was in a semester program, Justice, it's a pre-law program, I think is what you would define this as. So we were walking to lunch after class, and he was beside me talking. It was just the two of us. And he said, Todd, you just have so much common sense. And I remember telling him, distinctively remember, this is 21 years ago now. I said, Chris, if you agree with me, then why aren't you standing up and doing that in class? Because no one was. But I was never once. Look, the things that you have to accept as true to believe in big government is insane to me. Insane. First of all, that they know more than the average person. They have a more of a concern for their life, more concern for what's best for them, that they're more qualified to determine what's best for them personally, what's best for their children. Come on. That's just stupid talk. How's that even remotely possible? I don't care how many books you've read. I don't care how much you've studied subjects. I don't care how much Marx you've read. I don't care about any of that. It's pure silliness to even suggest anything remotely close to that. But that's what they believe. They say, well, if we just tinker with society enough, we can create the society that we all want. Well, how do you know what society I want? How do you know what I want for my life? You know how I know, how you know what I want? Is to see how I exercise my freedom. Yes, there's certain realities. There's certain things we just can't do because we don't have the means to do it. But I tell you what, as a guy, and as a guy that started a podcast in my closet, I'm telling you, if you have a dream that you believe in, and to my Christian brothers and sisters, if you feel the call of God in your life in a particular area, faithful is he who calls you, and he will do it. So I think all those things go away with this utopia that they want to create for us. By taking away the downside of risk, what they're really doing is taking away the upside of the potential too. You can't take away one without the other. That's the way that it works. One of the reasons God made us to be free living beings is because he wanted us to choose to love him. In order to let us choose to love him, he also had to take the brave step of choosing to allow us to hate him. And I mean hate him. I mean mock him. I mean, reject him, call him names, make accusations against him. But it's proportional. If he wants us to be able to love him to the nth degree, we have to be able to, in a likewise fashion, hate him to the nth degree. Same is true with freedom. You start taking away the downside risks, you're taking away the upside reward as well. Utopia will not exist this side of heaven, folks. Freedom is what matters. This guy at Politico doesn't care apparently about freedom or justice. For a rape victim, allegedly. Sick stuff. What a terrible, terrible way of looking at things. Got to take a time out. Be back and wrap up here in just a minute.
Is it possible to be a fan of the show if you don't have the gear to prove it? Why not be safe and remove all doubt? Shop for official merchandise at toddhuffshow.com/shop today.
Healthcare is expensive and complicated. Did you know that as a Christian business owner, it is possible to provide access to affordable health benefits for your employees? Remodel Health has helped employers across the United States save over $22 million in the past 3 years. Our innovative approach allows your employees to have the health benefits they need at a cost you can afford. Go to remodelhealth.com/Todd to help your employees find the healthcare they deserve. Remodel Health. Rethink employee health benefits.
Anxiety, depression, relationship problems, past trauma. Problems rarely get better when given time. Care to Change counseling can help. Our professionals combined evidence-based care models with scripture to get you on the path to a productive life. We are here to help you make the changes you need for a healthier, happier you. Take that brave step today. Call Care to Change at 317-790-9396 or visit caretochange.org.
Ever ask yourself, what does my business insurance actually cover? Well, at AIA and Avon, we think you deserve to know. AIA is focused on earning your trust. We found that when we educate our clients and truly listen to them, they allow us to work alongside them to put together the insurance plan they need. Whether your business is big or small, give AIA a call, 317-718-1747, or find out what we can do for you at AIA4lowrates.com. Advertisement sponsored by Grange Insurance.
Hey Indianapolis, by now you've probably heard about Jody Dowdle with Midwest Tax Group. Jody and his team are experts at helping you prepare your personal or small business tax returns. You can count on Midwest Tax Group to get every deduction possible and work for your higher refund. And not just on this year's taxes, they'll check your prior returns for any tax savings you may have missed for free. Are you behind on filing your returns? They can file past due returns and help negotiate with the IRS too. They complete most tax returns within a week and charge an affordable, flat fee, no hourly billing. And as their client, you can consult with the team at Midwest Tax Group year-round at no charge. Midwest Tax Group has 4 office locations in Castleton, Greenwood, Plainfield, and Greenfield, with evening and weekend appointments available. Schedule your appointment today at 317-288-5260. That's 317-288-5260. Or visit their website at mwtaxgroup.com. Midwest Tax Group can help you more than any piece of software ever could.
What if your bank treated you like a person instead of an account number? What if you could sit across from the person you are opening an account with or requesting a loan from and have an actual conversation? You may be thinking, Todd, that's crazy talk. Well, not at Citizens Bank. Come visit them in Monrovia and meet Nick Gibson, their new branch manager, and the rest of their staff. Or give them a call at 317-831-0110. Citizens Bank is an equal housing lender and member FDIC.
The compassion of Christ compels us to stop what we're doing and seek that person out. I think as Jesus went in that famous song I sang as a little kid was Zacchaeus, come down. Zacchaeus was in a tree and he wanted to engage with Jesus, but he just couldn't. And Jesus stopped and he went over to him. If we are going to live a life of compassion, the compassion of Christ, are we willing to stop and seek those who need a touch of compassion today?
All right. Out of time here today, guys. As always, I appreciate you tuning in, listening, no matter where you listen. YouTube, whether you listen iTunes, whether you listen Freedom 95, Utah's Talk Authority, 540 AM. It's a pleasure to have you. Thank you for helping us grow the program. Thank you for tuning in and being along for this journey. It's been a 4.5-year journey that started in our bedroom closet as a podcast, and it has been quite the trip, guys. So thank you so much for listening, for tuning in. Appreciate you being here. Have a great day. SDG. See you tomorrow. Take care.
Seems like just yesterday that you couldn't find a quiet place to think in your home. Now all the kids have flown the nest and you find